Welcome to Create GIFs with Snagit. Today we'll look at how to use a GIF, what makes for a good GIF, and what to do as an alternative if need be. And we will each do a screen capture GIF with Snagit. GIFs can serve many purposes. They can inject humor into a course. They can be attention-getting, topical. This is a GIF from the Jiffy site, and many content channels now have official Jiffy content. And we'll take a look at TED Talks. To add one to your Google Slides, find the content that you want to share. Share. Copy the GIF link. In Google Slides, insert image by URL. It'll be a smaller image, and if you want to fill out the slide, one option is to change the background color of the slide. And in this case, I have just expanded infinite space. There's a lot of content being created and shared online. If something's in the news, you'll find a GIF pertaining to it. When you're demonstrating a La Lima procedure for students, you're less likely to find something ready-made, so you'll want to make your own GIF with Snagit. This is something I put together from the Snagit site. I searched for ways to use animated GIFs. Click the link to pull up the TechSmith article, which included a GIF, so I captured a GIF within a GIF. This provides a breadcrumb trail of how I found the resource. Here, you'll see a definition of an animated GIF as a moving picture in GIF format, which means saved as a GIF rather than saved as a PNG. And a GIF is a series of frames displayed in animated sequence and looped. As a presenter, as an educator, you'll want to use GIFs sparingly, as they can be a little taxing to view for extended periods of time. When I've seen a couple, I need a breather, so as a presenter, I choose a still image to give us a pause in the action. Making a GIF makes sense when you have a short sequence of steps that can be captured and looped, so that the intended user can watch it 2 or 3 times and carry out the steps themselves. GIFs should be very short and self-explanatory. 1, 2, 3 steps. Maybe 4. Let's look at a GIF that I sent to you in the welcome email. I wanted everyone to find Snagit on their computer before the session, and I showed our Windows users how to find it on their device. It begins at the Windows Start button. Find the TechSmith folder. Click onto Snagit, and then More, and pin to Taskbar. Now you could say that this is as many as 4 or 5 steps, but it lays out in 3 columns and holds for a few seconds so the viewer can take it all in. Note that my desktop is a nice blue backdrop for the animation. I had a cluster of desktop icons that had to move out of the way to clear the screen for the GIF. This is also just the corner of my desktop. You'll want to make a GIF as small as possible and still see the action. Drag distracting elements out of view, and you may even want to change your desktop image. If this had a section of a personal photo in it, that would detract from the process that I'm demonstrating because it would be unrelated to the task and just extraneous information that the viewer would have to take in. Here's another example where it took me a few times to select a region to encapsulate the action. I started with the smaller region at left and then realized the dialog box was too tall to fit. And once you select the department, it's taller yet. So I had to adjust and try again until it was right. If you have to go from the top to the bottom of your screen to accomplish a task, That covers a large region, and that can result in a bigger, blurrier, slow-to-load GIF. There's no rule of thumb as to how much screen space is too much. That's something you'll discover as you record. If the result is blurry, it won't make a nice, clean, effective GIF. Additionally, you may have a process that is too long for a GIF, too many steps, or it requires a verbal explanation. A GIF is a series of images, a little silent movie, and if the process requires equal parts image and explanation, you may want to record a short process video. Screen capture videos use the same tool, Snagit, but you would toggle on audio and maybe your webcam. I'm sharing this link in the chat today and encourage you to watch the video. The tutorial explains how to set up Snagit for recording a screen capture video, much of which is the same for GIFs, which are recorded as silent videos. Note that the web page has a process video at the top, followed by short chunks of the main video that can be reviewed without starting it over again. I'm seeing more of this done lately, where you have a full-length resource at top, followed by micro video segments for quick access to details. Once you click onto one of them, they loop and behave like a GIF. However, if these were GIFs, they would be actively looping once you landed on the page. Here, there's a mix of still images and micro videos that the user can pass over or selectively engage with. As GIFs, these pieces of content would be competing for attention. Here's an example of a single GIF being used to illustrate the new Google Docs Citations feature. There's a small amount of copy explaining the change, and a GIF to illustrate the Citations panel. This GIF is the centerpiece of the update. There are no other visual distractions. Earlier, I sent you a link to this video. Create an animated GIF, but I think it's worth replaying before we go hands-on. Let's all record a GIF using Snagit. When you click the red Snagit icon, either on your Windows taskbar or on a Mac, you'll find it in the far upper right of the screen. When you click it, the capture tool appears on screen. You'll select Record a Video. Turn your webcam off and make sure that your microphone is off as well. Before clicking the red button, open the West Oahu website and find the Connect with Us button. It appears on almost every page. You can demo the steps of clicking the button and typing in a bit of content. Hover your mouse over the Submit button to indicate the last step. Once you stop your capture, your video will automatically appear in the Snagit editor for trimming and saving as a GIF.